Welcome to the Healers Café, conversations on health and healing with Manon Bolliger, a retired and deregistered naturopathic physician with 30 plus years of experience. Here you will discover engaging and informative conversations between experienced healers, covering all aspects of healing, the personal journey, the journey of the practitioner, and the amazing possibilities for our own body and spirit.
So welcome to the Healers Café. And today I have with me Jacquie Nemor, and she's a native Californian. She's academically, she has a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and Behavioral Science. She has a Master of Science in Healthcare Administration, and she has worked all kinds of different careers, including being a caregiver and patient advocate. She has an eclectic field of study for over 40 years, ranging from cosmic universal energies to ascendant masters and light workers, oculists and metaphysics, practices of ancient civilization and native culture, to modern day medicine and alternative healing techniques, including the relationship between emotional thoughts and the disease process. So, welcome.
Well, thank you for my invitation to be with you for this half hour or so.
Yeah, I love these conversations because we have an eclectic group of people listening, and I believe that healing is an inside job. And yet, when we meet people along our paths at the exact right moment that we meet them, that they usually have something, some skills, something to share. And I just feel like if more people knew all of these possibilities and put it within their field of possibilities, they'd be more likely to meet ways and people that can help accelerate their healing journey. So that's basically, in the nutshell, why I invited you and everybody else that comes here. So I think it's time for people to really take charge of their health. So with that, welcome. And my first question to you is, what brought you along on this journey yourself?
Well, I've always been interested. My father was a pharmacist, so of course I grew up to be a pharmacist, and I had a year of pharmacy school at USC. But I met my husband at that time, so that was my degree, not in pharmacy. And a friend of mine always said, it's a good thing that you didn't graduate, because you would have not wanted to fill prescriptions, but just tell everybody about homeopathic remedies and other alternative medicines. So I think I've always had that inkling that there are alternative methods. And I've done acupuncture, gone to an acupuncturist for 30 some years. I've had psychic healers that I've known for 35 years. So I've always been in that inkling. I remember at 16, I was hypnotized and I thought, oh my God, I've got to be a hypnotist. And so that kind of led me on the path. But in 1980, I took my first tarot class with tarot card reading. And so that was 40 years ago plus. And then I just developed into Native American healing. I did the light workers, usually on the Mayan side of light workers. And what's so interesting, in the 1980s, I thought that would be my business. I was going to be a healer. I was going to be a tarot reader. But it took 30 years later for me to really develop the healing. And my boyfriend became very ill in 2007, 2008. And so I became a 24-hour caregiver. But I used all my healing. I mean, we did every single practice you can think of. And he lasted, I shouldn't say lasted, he lived 10 years longer than he possibly could have with just Western medicine. You have to do all kinds of medicine when you have disease. And again, I believe that disease is emotional. And I believe that disease takes 30 years to really come into fruition, to really show itself. even with accidents. It's not an accident. There's something in your mindset that caused that to happen, hopefully for your better good. So that's really basically my thinking. And I believe that we can all heal ourselves, and which is what we do. As long as we stay positive and laugh. Laugh is really, truly the world's best medicine.
Yeah, I agree.
And to stay positive.
Many people in my clinic said, like, why is everyone laughing so much? It's like, it's contagious.
It is.
We think that really is. Well, actually, that's not true. There's many contagious things, like negative energy is contagious. Like, in fact, state of being.
Yes, we kind of see that now, how fear has taken over for the last 2 years, if not more, because it's been underneath it all. And fear, I think, is the most detrimental thing you can do to your body, mind, and soul. You've got to be in a positive light. Have to be.
Yeah. You made an interesting comment. My memory just got it and then lost it. But you said, if something like, if that is meant, but opening the door to that the accident could be good for you or not. Could you expand a little bit on what you meant by that?
Absolutely. You don't know what the big universal picture is. Why was this caused? What do you have to look at about yourself, basically? I'll just take, for instance, with Ed, who is my boyfriend. He was 20, we were together for 25 years. 15 years were basically the last 11 years of his life is when he was very, very, very ill. A very rare disease, 1 in a million people have. And I truly believe it all had to do with loving himself, accepting love, giving out love. And the day he passed away in the hospital, I think it just felt like he finally made the circle, the complete circle around. People came in to say goodbye. He was able to not quite say goodbye. He was in a state of morphine injections so that he didn't feel the pain because he fell a few days before and there was no way that he would ever recover. So it was his way and my way of having everybody come to say goodbye. And the love you could feel in that room, I truly, truly believe that it was all meant to be. He made the complete circle of giving love and receiving love. I truly, truly believe that. And in regards to like 30 years, I can give you an example of my father. He was wounded in World War II. He had shrapnel. He was in the hospital for 4 years, before I was born, of course. And 30 years later, to the date, I believe, he developed cancer. For myself, 30 years in 1980s, I was taking classes and this woman said to me, "Oh my God, there's a green orb that just went into your head." 30 years later, in 2014, I had cancer in my head, exact place where that orb went into. So I really do believe that things are meant to happen and it's all for the better, because I wouldn't have developed my healing practice as I do now, as I have now, if it weren't for Ed. And I would not be the person I am today without going through all the life experiences I have gone through. So yes, I do believe that things are meant to be.
So how do you make peace with, or if that's an option, with, again, I'm not free to use certain words, nor is the rest of the universe. But for those who did not want to experiment, with their immune systems and just decided to trust that they have natural immunity, and, big companies try big things, but if they haven't, if all they had were animal studies that showed that animals died, but they really didn't bother to do much more, and that people were the ones to be tested on. And now that's coming out, as clear as light, except the media is distracted currently by other events because they don't want to talk about all the people that are currently suffering that haven't died or haven't died yet. But you listen to many doctors, and then they're, it's grim. It's grim what might ensue, how people will be impacted, those that aren't already impacted. And I think it was a UK study, it's like 1 in 800, who already experiencing problems. So how do you make peace with that? On what level? Like, how do you work with that? I mean, to me, this is it's such a difficult point, and any inspiration on that would be helpful.
For me, it's very simple. I believe we are reincarnated. I believe we're here for lessons. I believe that we contract when we come in and we contract when we leave. And I just think that all of this that's going on now, again, the fear has really come up tremendously. And the people who have left, it was basically truly their decision before they came down to earth, because we have to get rid of the old energy. We are now into a new phase. We are coming into the Aquarian age. We may not ever see it because it's still going to take like 200 years to go forward. But we are at the beginning. We are the light workers. We are the people here to transition. Otherwise, we would not be here at this time. And I believe the people who are leaving and have left don't have the high enough frequency to get the new energy in. You've got to get rid of the old before the new can come in. And again, we contracted before we came down to this earth. I know that could be a little airy-fairy, but I truly, truly do believe that. We pick our parents, they pick our children, or we pick everything. And yes, there are different paths to get where our destiny is supposed to be, and that's choice, but it's still going to take us to where we're supposed to end up, on the date we're supposed to end up.
Interesting. Yeah. So in that sense, you can't fight that part. That just is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly. What do they say? So let it be. So it is. So it is.
And so then there's people who have already passed. I mean, according to the insurance companies, that I think it's 40% increase in mortality rates. So they're getting worried. That's how the information's coming out. Right? So
and fear. Let's get out of the fear. There's enough for everybody. Everybody can have anything they want, but get out of the fear to let it come in.
But so people who are starting to recognize that they are possibly suffering from immune diseases at this point, or that, they've been told or they've read, because a lot of people are starting to read what, many of us warned ages ago, don't do it because we don't know, but there's enough reason to suspect, right? So if they feel like they're walking around with 2/3 of an immune system, do you feel that if they are out of fear, and if can the body receive things? In this case, it may have been toxic input. There's lots of other toxic inputs possible. But if they can manage their state and I don't know, maybe learn something from this transaction, do you think that they can, with all of your experience in helping people with all the different therapies and the insights you have on healing, can they overcome that?
Absolutely.
Manon Bolliger here, and I want to thank you for taking actionable steps towards engaging your healing journey and helping others discover their path by watching, sharing, subscribing, and reviewing these podcasts. Every review and share helps spread the word, these different perspectives and choices and options for healing. And to thank you, I'd like to invite you to sign up to my free 7-sequence email tips on health and healing for everyday life. You can go to healerscafe.com tips. Thanks so much.
There is that in my mind, but they have to believe. They have to believe they can heal themselves. They are actually healing themselves. We all heal ourselves. I'm just a vessel. I don't do the healing. You never did the healing in your practice.
Totally, yeah.
No.
But what does it take to heal? Like, so my question is, so I know people who are in absolute still denial of that anything, oh no, that headache's not related. Oh, I always have, it's not true, but blah, blah, blah. So they're not either, they're literally not putting two and two together, or they're putting two and two together, but their ego just won't allow it, or whatever the story is. But can they secretly heal within, or do they really have to say on some level, holy gosh, what do I need to do with this?
Of course they can heal within, but they have, again, back to the belief system. Many people believe, oh, my mother had it, my grandmother had it, my grandfather had it, I'm going to have it. No, no, no. That is not true. You can end that with yourself, but you have to believe it. You have to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I forget what the number is, 7 trillion cells that change weekly. There's no reason we should be ill. None whatsoever. It's all, again, emotional, mental, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, what's the level of consciousness? Because, the funny thing is you have MDs that don't have they have massive experience in their field of knowledge, but they don't have the breadth of it. Well, they have no experience with healing, actually.
Absolutely right.
That's actually the problem.
Because they're technical. They're technical. That's all it is. You're so much more involved. You need the emotional part involved. Again, you have to believe you're going to be well. Yeah. As long as you picture yourself well, you're going to be well. But if you keep saying, oh, I can't do this, I can't walk, I this shouldn't have happened to me, stop. Yeah. Or saying things like, repeating what these scientists say. Well, they found this protein in the ovaries, they found it in the marrow, they found it, therefore it means, right? And it's a very defined sort of genetic, or, there's processes one could explain why infertility is so high, because there's infertility and miscarriages has gone up. Yes, but maybe their body, first of all, their body wasn't strong enough at that time to accept carrying a child. And again, back to my belief system of reincarnation, the children that are coming in may just test you to see if they can even be held in a human body. Mm-hmm. We're all energy. We're all energetics. Mm-hmm. Again, they come in, they go out. I don't believe the human form takes place until the day of birth. Maybe they came in a week before or something. Mm-hmm. But abortions, things like that, it's okay because these beings, I'll call them beings, and energy from where we all come from, which is another galaxy, another universe, another wherever, come into the human form to learn lessons. These are lessons they have to even start before they're born to see if they can hold being in a human physical body. Right. So in other words, you're not in the least bit pessimistic based on the actual research, which is being hidden, but nonetheless quite impactful. Right. Start waking up there going, oh my God, like I've just poisoned myself. But I'm very worried about not sharing that with some people because they'll take it go into fear. And the thing is, it's not, information doesn't become anything unless you make it become something. So it's it could do these things, but if we can work on ourselves, on our self-love, our self-care, our energy, then it doesn't matter. It's like the epigenetics thing. It's it's bigger than and the new beings coming into the earth now, are so beyond you and I, coming in because they'll understand it. There's going to be so much more compassion, so much more understanding. That's why so many people have left now. They don't have that. They didn't have it. It's the light, it's the lighter light workers or light beings or whatever you want to call. That's why we're here now, to change that energy.
Mhm.
You know, we're like the first generation coming in with it, and the other ones behind us.
Mhm.
You know, you're the indigo children. I don't know what they're calling the new ones coming in now, but they're going to be so much more advanced, so much more compassion, and they're going to understand what illness really is. It's
Mhm.
kind of a time for you to get to know yourself
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
to heal from all that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's very, I mean, I resonate with what you're saying, but it's very powerful. I've asked this question to many people in these interviews, and it's interesting the level of belief that we all share.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's interesting where it starts and where it ends, and what we create, literally.
And we wouldn't be here now if we weren't supposed to be here. It's kind of like
Exactly.
a job. You're not, you know, if you're hitting your head against a wall in your job, well, you're not supposed to be there. Life is really very simple. Everything is at ease. When you're at ease with yourself, everything flows. And when you stay in the present, everything flows. You don't have to work at anything.
Mhm.
It just happens.
Mhm. Yeah.
We're energy. That's all we are. We're just energetic in a human form, in a human vessel. That's it.
Mhm. So I took you on my journey, but I just realized there are plenty of other questions that would sort of highlight a little bit your experience and your journey with this whole healing process. Is there something that you want to share, or whether it's a person's experience or someone you've witnessed, or insights about healing, or any of the modalities that you've used, how it interrelates?
Well, I think everything comes from strong organs inside. Everything is as above, so below, as inside, so outside. If you think negative things, they're going to come to you, negative things.
Mhm.
If you believe you're going to be healthy and well, and you have the internal organs have to be strong. I truly believe in acupuncture for that, because they base it on yin and yang and balance. You can diet, you can eat certain foods, but if your mind says, oh my God, I can't eat that. Oh my goodness, I can't eat this. It's not good for me. Well, what's going to happen? It's not going to be good for you. Oh, I'm fat. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. Well, guess what shows up? You're fat. You're this or you're that. No, I just made a rhyme. But you have to stay in the present. You have to be in the present. You have to live your life in a high frequency of laughter. You know, you're feeling down, start to laugh. It changes your energy. It changes your frequency. And just know you're here to learn. That's it. We're here to learn.
Mhm.
So we can all be healthy. There's no reason not to be.
Mhm.
You know, stay in that positive frame. Don't let the negative energies come at you. Put up blocks every day. Say, please put up protection to whoever your guides, your sources, the universe, please protect me. And be like Teflon. Let the anger, let the frustration, let the fear just float off of you,
Mhm.
so you can be well and happy.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I've what I found is I tell people it's what, when an emotion rises, as long as you don't attach a story to it,
Exactly.
which is what I call then a feeling. But if you just have the emotion and you let it do its thing, and you be very careful not to attach to it, it can't really last more than 90 seconds.
Exactly. And if you're depressed, then stay with it. Don't fight it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it's here to be brought up, to get rid of, and leave. It will leave on its own. But give it a couple days, even besides the 90 seconds. You recognize it in 90 seconds, but
Yeah.
it may take a couple days to leave, but it's going to leave.
Yeah.
You know, stop fighting everything.
Mhm.
Just be, and be present. Not in the future, not in the past. You can't change any of that. The only thing you can be is in the present moment, and then everything flows easily, with ease, with grace and ease.
Yeah, I agree. So
I'm so glad we're on the same pathway.
So of the many modalities that you've used, is there one that a person who is just interested in starting, looking at things, I mean, or is it just that it'll just come to you anyways?
It will just come when you're ready, the teacher appears.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. You know, a book it will jump out at you or fall off a shelf. Something will definitely lead you. Or you hear it twice or 3 times. Knock, knock. The universe is saying, look at this.
Yeah.
So,
I have the 3-time rule.
Yeah, I have usually the 2-time. Okay. If I make a call 2 times, they're not there. Not supposed to happen. So.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. I guess that's an internal rule mechanism, right? Or is there some universal thing?
No, I think there's some universal thing. Everything happens in 3s. 3 is a powerful, powerful number. 3, 6, 9. Yeah, so yeah. I think that's what the universe is based on. One of the many numbers.
Yeah. Anyway, Jacquie, so we have like 2 more minutes.
Oh, we do. Wow.
That was so fast. When are we going to start?
Well, we're ending on a fabulous note. We're laughing. We're having a great time. We got out a lot of information.
Actually, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. And what more can we ask for?
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, I'm happy.
Me too. Me too. It's been a wonderful pleasure.
Thank you for joining us at the Healers Café with Manon Bolliger. Continue your healing journey by visiting thehealerscafe.com and her website, and discover how to listen to your body and reboot for optimal health.